Hey guys, I will be reviewing questions 13 through 16 in your fall semester exam review. Hopefully you are ready for your test either tomorrow or Thursday. So these 4 questions are asking you to write, it should say an inequality. And we know it's an inequality because they have shading. When there is no shading, it is just an equation. So in order to write an inequality, we are going to write them in slope-intercept form, which looks kind of like this. Except the difference is we're not going to have an equal sign. We're going to have one of the inequalities. So it's either going to look like this, like this, like this, or like this. So instead of the equal sign, we're going to have one of those. We need to get 2 pieces of information in order to be able to write these inequalities. We need to know the slope, which is M, and we need to know the y-intercept, which is B. I think the easiest part to find on the graph is the y-intercept, because all you have to do is look to see where the line intersects the y-axis. Well, this graph intersects the y-axis at that point. So my B for number 13 is 1. To get to that point from the origin, I move up 1. So my B is 1. Now, I have to find the slope. In order to find the slope on a graph, we do rise over run. So I'm looking for M, which is my slope, but I'm going to do it using rise over run. Oops. I already have this point. I need to pick another point. When you are picking these other points, be very careful. Try your slope more than once to see if it actually works. Because sometimes you think you know what it is, and if you do that again, you don't end up on the line. So right now it looks like that point may be another point. So to get from my y-intercept to that point, I move down 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. So I'm going to try that again and see if I actually end up on the point. Down 1, 2, 3, and right 1. And when I do that again, that point ends up on the line. So I went down 3 and right 1. So when I move down 3, that means negative 3 over 1. Do not leave your slope as negative 3 over 1. Negative 3 over 1 reduces to just negative 3. Now, because we have shading, I need to figure out which inequality is going to tell me to shade above and have a solid line. Because it's a solid line, it's got to be one of these. Because that equal to line is what makes this line solid. This is greater, this is less. Above is greater, so my inequality will look like this, because that means it's a solid line and we shade above. So my equation, which should really say inequality, is going to be y is greater than or equal to my slope, because that's M, negative 3. Slope is always next to x. And my y-intercept is a positive 1, so plus 1. Now, once you write that, we can check it in the calculator. The next ones are going to be a little bit faster. I'm going to go a little bit faster because we already did it here. Oops. So I'm going to graph this to see if it actually looks like my paper. Delete relation. Y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 1. And that looks pretty similar. If I take my mouse and hover it over the line, it makes it a little bit bolder, and you can see that it is solid. So, same thing here. Find the y-intercept, find the slope, and then determine if it's solid dotted, and then where the shading is. So my y-intercept is down here this time, and from the origin I move down 2, so my y-intercept this time is negative 2. This time my slope is positive because this line is moving up. So it looks like this is a point. So if I go up 1, right 1, I'm going to try that again. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. So my slope is 1 over 1, which is just 1. Now, this time I have a dotted line, so it's got to be one of these because these represent dotted lines. They don't have the equal to line underneath, and it is shaded below. Well, this is greater and this is less. Less is below, so this time my inequality looks like this. So now I just put it all together. Y is less than, not equal to, because it is a dotted line. In front of my x is my slope. My slope is 1. You can write the 1 in, but on a multiple choice test, the 1 won't be there. So it might just look like y is less than x. And then minus 2, because my y-intercept is negative 2. Now, 15 and 16 are a little different because these are not diagonal lines. This line is vertical and this line is horizontal. So these are actually a little bit easier to write. There aren't as many steps. This line is vertical. So we use Vux from Hoy Vux. This tells me what my equation or inequality should look like. So I'm going to have x, not equals because I have shading. This is a dotted line. And this number right here is 2. So now all I need to figure out is, are the numbers that are bigger than 2 shaded, or are the numbers that are smaller than 2 shaded? Well, if I keep moving to the right, all of these numbers on this side are bigger than 2. So it has to be greater than 2. And I don't put the equal to because this line is dotted. Last one, this line is horizontal. So this time I am going to use Hoy. So my inequality is going to have y, not equals because they're shading. This number from the origin is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. It is shaded below, so that is less than, and my line is solid, so I have to add the equal to. You can always go back and graph these in your calculator and see if the graphs match. Please make sure you study, watch any more videos if you need to, and good luck on your exams.